Hey folks, today we're taking a look at TERA Diary, the free-to-play version of one of my favourite MMORPGs of the last 12 months. Now TERA has a couple of things going for it, especially now it's free-to-play. I mean, the value's just increased, of course. But the two things it's got going for it are that you can use a controller, and that leads to a more action-based game generally, and that the graphics are, for an MMORPG, absolutely stunning. I still don't think I've played anything. I've seen some screenshots of other things, but I don't think I've actually played anything that manages to be as impressive as this. What it's got visually is a scale. Everything looks so big, everything looks so it's big, but it's populated. You always get a sense that you're part of this huge world, but you never feel that it's big empty fields, which is one of the few problems that I've got with Guild Wars. Actually, it is a huge world, but you never feel like it's as populated outside of the cities. The other thing that TERA's got going for it, of course, is that you can use a controller.
You get what you pay for.
I was talking to some people when I was doing the TERA Diary last year, and they were they did not understand the allure of playing an MMORPG with a controller. What's the point? And
take it personally.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, because although TERA works very well on a controller, and although it does give you this sense of the combat being more second to second, it's more, you've got to concentrate on dodging, you've got to make sure that you hit towards the head, because that would make it critical, or whatever, you know. It does mean that you have to focus a little more on it. And I love it, I absolutely love it, but other people really don't get why it works so well. And I think that trying it out will convert a lot of people, and that's great now that it's free to play, because people can try it, they can see what they think, and they can see whether it works for them or not. And I mean, the big problem with it is that obviously there's not as many buttons on a controller as there are on a keyboard, so you still have to use the keyboard sometimes to use some moves. And it gets to a point where I reckon some people will just turn around and go, huh, why don't I just play it on the keyboard? There are some problems though. I mean, even now the world isn't very interesting. It's very beautiful, but you know, the lore isn't fantastic. The story, although it can be presented quite nicely, it's not going to really keep your attention. It's pretty standard MMO fare. And I do wonder how many people actually finished the main story. I managed to log in and just pick up straight from where I left off. So for anyone that was playing along with the TERA Diary, or anyone that was playing when it first launched and gave up, you can just pick up your character. You might need to change the name of that character, but all your items will still be there. You'll still be able to continue with the story. You'll pick up right where you left off with the quests. All in all, TERA Diary is a fantastic game, although there are still issues that if you gave up on the original TERA, you'll still be annoyed by the problems in TERA Diary. And considering that they've relaunched the game and that they've had a year to deal with these things, it's pretty disappointing that they're still there. The combat is great, especially when you get to the bigger monsters, because that is just adrenaline, adrenaline, adrenaline. But it still suffers from just not being focused enough. Give it a go, subscribe, click across for a full review. Thanks for listening.